All right, let's dive deep into one of the most fascinating economic transformations happening right now. We're going to look inside the engine room of Saudi Arabia's new economy, and a huge part of that engine is something you might not expect: startup competitions. We're going to explore how these aren't just contests, but strategic tools designed to rewire the entire country's future.
So you have to start with this giant question, right? If you're a country and you want to completely shift your economy, how in the world do you create a vibrant startup scene basically from scratch? Where do you even begin to find the people who are going to build that future?
Well, a huge part of the answer, maybe surprisingly, is the humble startup competition. But don't let the simple name fool you. These are not your average talent shows for tech geeks. No, no. These are precision-engineered machines, and they're built to fuel a massive national vision.
And that national vision is Saudi Vision 2030. This is the key piece of the puzzle. You got to understand these competitions are not just random events. They are plugged directly into the kingdom's huge goals of moving away from oil, creating tons of new jobs, and building an economy that runs on innovation.
Okay, so to really get how this all works, we need to zoom in. Let's go from the big picture right down to the ground level and put one of the kingdom's most important programs right under the microscope, the StartSmart Competition.
So StartSmart isn't new to the game. It's got a pretty solid history. It actually started out as the MIT Enterprise Forum Saudi Arabia. I mean, that alone gives it some serious street cred. Now it's in its 9th year, and it's a major fixture in the whole ecosystem run by Community Jameel Saudi.
Now, before we go any further, there's a term you're going to see that is a huge deal for founders: equity-free. This just means when you win the prize money, you get to keep 100% of your company. Nobody takes a slice of your pie. For a brand new startup, getting that first bit of cash without giving up a piece of your baby, that is incredibly attractive.
So what does this whole thing actually look like from the inside? Let's pop the hood on the 2025 edition and see exactly how they take an idea and try to turn it into a real business. The very first thing that jumps out about the 2025 competition is its laser-like focus. It is all about AI. I mean, to even get through the door, your idea absolutely has to use artificial intelligence tools. That's not a suggestion, it's a requirement. And that tells you they are pushing hard to line up the country's innovators with its biggest tech goals.
So who are they looking for? Well, the rules are pretty smart. You need to have roots in the kingdom, so at least one Saudi team member is a must, and your idea has to solve a real problem in the Saudi market. It's all about growing local talent to solve local challenges. Makes sense, right?
And the journey from just applying to winning the prize, it's a total sprint. It kicks off with a wide-open application window, which then gets narrowed down to the top 40 teams. And for those teams, they enter a 2-month virtual pressure cooker, an accelerator just packed with training and mentoring, all leading up to the final showdown, Demo Day in February 2026.
And what's waiting at the finish line? The top 3 teams each walk away with 100,000 Saudi riyals. And remember what we said, it's equity-free. That is pure seed money. Look, it's not enough to build a giant corporation, but it is absolutely crucial for turning a prototype into a product and getting a real company off the ground.
Okay, so that's the process. But the big question is, does it actually work? Let's check out the numbers and see what kind of impact this competition has had over the last 9 years. First off, the sheer scale of this thing is kind of staggering. You have over 10,500 applicants. That just shows you the raw interest. It's a huge magnet for new ideas and talent. But it's not just about throwing your hat in the ring. Almost 10,000 of those people have actually received formal training. Think about that. That is a massive educational push, building skills in a huge pool of people, whether they end up winning or not. And what about the actual economic results? Well, over 200 jobs have been created by companies that came out of this competition. So you can see the funnel, right? Massive interest at the top, widespread training in the middle, and then real, tangible job growth at the bottom. So when you pull all these threads together, why does a competition like StartSmart really matter? What's its actual role in the grand scheme of things?
Well, the value is really on multiple levels. For the founders, it's a golden ticket. You get training, mentorship, a media spotlight, and that equity-free cash. For the whole startup scene, it's a talent pipeline. Investors can scout the best new teams. For the nation itself, it's a direct shot in the arm for small businesses and job creation. And really, for everyone, it's like a big, bright, visible front door to the entire startup scene.
Okay, but to get the complete picture, we can't just look at the highlights.
We also need to think about the strategic choices and trade-offs they made in designing this whole thing. It's not just about celebrating the wins.
Yeah, when you look a bit closer, you see the trade-offs. That intense focus on AI, super timely and ambitious, but it also means a ton of great non-AI ideas don't even get a chance. And that 100,000 Real prize, it's great seed money for sure, but it's not going to change your life like a huge venture capital round would. That tells you the real prize here isn't just the cash, it's the training and the network. And maybe the most revealing number of all, 200 plus jobs from nearly 10,000 trainees. This shows the real strategy. It's not about guaranteeing a few big wins, it's about building a massive talent pipeline and shifting the mindset of thousands of people.
And that all brings us to this final, really important question. Is the real goal here mass inspiration more than guaranteed outcomes? Is it about casting the widest net possible to build an entire culture of innovation instead of just trying to find a few future superstars? And you know, when you're trying to build an economy from a whole new blueprint, maybe that wide-angle approach isn't just the first step, maybe it's the most important one of all.